The old ruins of Wackenstein appear before you.
All right.
Loud and powerful music follows the fog and the figures, crushing over your head in roaring waves. The force of the music clouds your senses, and it seems as if the statue of the blind guardian rises from his throne. You want to draw your companion's attention to it, but then you suddenly realize that you have a tankard of ale in your hand. You instinctively try it, and are happy to note that you haven't drunk such good ale since Ogre's death. The night becomes a colourful whirl of ale, music, dance and ecstasy. You can no longer remember why you're here or who you're celebrating with. For a few hours you forget what was and what is to come. You are completely in the here and now. You wake up the next morning. You're lying on your back and staring into a sky that is much too bright. You turn onto your side with difficulty and see your companions all around you, but no one else. The remains of a wild party, campfires, tents, and ale tankards are still there, but the magic has gone. You stand up, muttering curses, and try to suppress the taste in your mouth and the pain in your head. To your great surprise, you see that the stony figure of the blind guardian has revealed a tunnel that leads into the rock of the mountain.
If we go on now, we probably can't come back. The mechanism looks like it will close the pass behind us. We should be sure that we have done all we need to.
While you rest under a ledge at noon, Rodario and Fergus decide to go ice fishing, and the dwarves immediately pronounce their opposition.
Ice and water are both treacherous. They entice you to them. Before you know it, you disappear into them forever.
Like in a marriage, you mean? At first the woman entices you, but if you stay in her arms like a good boy, the good life is over all too quickly.
The good life, in which you go behind the backs of other men, get beaten up and one day die painfully of a sexually transmitted disease.
All slander, my dear.
Rodario bares his teeth for a moment and then follows Fergus to the shore.
He reminds me of a billy goat we used to have. Mounted everything that got in its way. One day he mounted a goat that was standing too close to a cliff. The two of them fell down the cliff in the best of spirits.
Your path leads you over a snowy, hilly plain, and as you scale a particularly steep hill, you falter. A crevasse opens out in front of you. You look around, but there isn't any point nearby where you could cross over the gap. You follow the course of the crevasse. After an hour, the end of the crevasse is still not in sight. However, you do find a cave that slopes down softly parallel to the crevasse. You are afraid that you might get lost in the ice cave and freeze to death in misery, but ultimately your curiosity is rewarded. You find after an hour's search a winding passage that leads you to a large chamber. You walk ahead with your torch outstretched and see a shadow in the ice. You step backwards in shock as you realize that it's the body of a frozen human. Something glittering in the floor grabs Goimgar's attention, an ornamented gold shield. Part of it is frozen into the ice, but it should be easy to free.
Pure gold! This thing must be worth quite a bit, though it would be completely useless in a fight.
Wouldn't that be like tomb raiding?
Your companion doesn't answer.
It doesn't feel right. We'd best leave the shield with its owner.
You take a short break and then look for a way back to the surface. You find it quickly and continue on your way without any further delay. You finally arrive at the entrance to a valley that curves its way towards Ironhald, the firstling stronghold.
By Vracus, we've done it!
Get down!
Up there!
Run! I can't maintain the spell for long!
Put him on Goimgar's shield! To the gate! Quick!
As you approach the first gate, you see guards on the battlements. You call as you run.
By Vracus, we are dwarves of the kingdoms of the secondlings and the fourthlings. Open the gate!
Their leader gives orders that you cannot hear, but moments later, the gate opens up for you.
Report back! Man the walls and the defences!
The guards follow the orders immediately.
Who are you that lead the Alpha to our door?
How dare you speak to us like that? Dwarf who seems to have no name?
Boindale steps forward before you can stop him.
I am Boindale Doubleblade, a child of the smith of Burrowin folk. And that is my brother Boindale, who needs a healer immediately.
The commander pulls down his scarf, and his face leaves you speechless.
Only a dwarf could make such a fuss. Ballinder Steelfinger. I protect the main gate of the firstlings, therefore it is my duty to regard all guests precisely before I invite them in.
But you are a woman.
You have a keen eye, Boindale Doubleblade.
The tender features and soft fluff leave no room for doubt. A female dwarf is the commander of the guard. She gives orders for the injured Boindale to be taken care of. 4 dwarves pick him up on his shield, and Boindale follows them.
Stay with your brother. I will bring the rest of you to Queen Zamtis, where you can explain what you're doing here.
Come closer, and be welcome to the kingdom of the firstlings.
I am Tungdil Goldhand of the Fourthling Kingdom.
You introduce your companions one by one, not forgetting to mention the twins and the Mager too. You then explain the reason for your visit. You report on the advance of the Perish land, the death of the Magi, and the dispute about the next High King. The dark brown eyes of the Queen fix on you for a moment before she speaks.
What you report sounds very serious, Tungdil. You can be sure of the support of the firstlings. How may we assist you?
There is only one way to defeat Nodon. Keenfire. To forge it, we need the best smith your kingdom has to offer. Help us, and thus help your kingdom, my queen.
The Queen considers, then nods.
So be it. Could there ever be a better time to revive the old commonality of the kingdoms? Ballandis here is not only my best warrior, she is also my best smith. She will accompany you.
Your eyes fall upon Balandis, and you notice the blood rushing to your cheeks.
I will do my best. You can trust in my axe and my hammer.
We must continue on our journey to the firstlings in the Grey Range.
Then I will show you the entrance to the tunnels. You will be in the perished land within a few orbits.
You know the tunnels, but still the firstlings live in seclusion.
Our isolation was self-imposed. My mother knew that the other kingdoms would not simply accept her as the queen. She wanted to give them time to get used to it.
Your Highness, in the name of the Council of the Kingdoms, I request that you send a delegation to the Blue Range to take part in the discussions. We all have a common enemy.
There has never been any enmity between my kingdom and the others. It was more neglected friendship and habit that has made us strangers to one another. As soon as you set off for the Grey Range, we will head east to see our brothers and sisters again. I will have rooms prepared for you and your companions so that you can rest. It has been some time since we have had guests, but we still know what hospitality means. Come to me when you are ready to depart.
Hello.
What is it, Tyndall?
It would seem that a lot of important positions are occupied by female dwarves in the Firstling Kingdom.
Is it not common where you come from that men and women share the duties?
Of course. Among the humans and the secondlings, the women help out in the house so that the men have time for their duties. That's how it is written in the books, too.
Here, posts are assigned according to the skills of the applicant, not gender. It's only natural that the most important posts are occupied by women.
She winks at you and gives you a knowing glance, although the whole thing still befuddles you.
What is it like living with the firstlings? I haven't seen much yet, but many things seem to be different to life with the secondlings in Ogre's Death.
I can't make any real comparisons either. I grew up here and have never left our kingdom. I can hardly wait to see the halls of the firstlings. They were the best smiths before we took on the mantle.
Don't expect too much. Their halls have been in the hands of the enemy for over 1,000 cycles.
I read that the orcs avoid the stronghold, as if there were a curse on it.
Even reading doesn't seem to be frowned upon among the firstlings. You feel at home here. But that isn't only down to the books.
See you later.
Ah, Tungdil. I was wondering when you would pay me a visit.
I thank you, and Jeroen, you appeared at the right moment. May I, ask why?
It was down to you. Your speech about the responsibility I owe to my realm. Lot Yonan was a good teacher.
Her face darkens when she thinks of her old companion.
There are 100 reasons that Nodon deserves to die. That is why I went back to the secondlings and took another look through the books. I discovered a passage that said Keenfire can only take its effect against evil when it is wielded by a foe of the Undergrounders.
A foe of the Undergrounders? It's going to be difficult to persuade Nork to help us.
I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I think I might have an answer to the problem. The Alpha are also your foes, aren't they?
What the...
Half human, half elf. My mother bequeathed me her gifts and her weapons. I got very little from my father, but his eyes are an advantage.
We should keep your parentage secret, especially from Geralda.
I'm in no doubt that the Alpha did terrible things to her, and I'm not keen on letting her kill me.
If what Nomura told me earlier is true, this Geralda could be just as great a danger as Nodon. She could take control of generals or kings, maybe even me.
You are aware of the danger, but you don't have the energy to think about it right now. You push the problem aside.
Then that's agreed. We will keep Nomura's secret to ourselves. And you're sure that only a foe of the Undergrounders can use Keenfire?
Anyone can use it like a normal axe, but only a foe of the Undergrounders can command its magical powers. I don't know much about her, but a half-elf should pass as a foe of all dwarves.
All right then. You will wield Keenfire in the battle against Nodon. But we're going to have to make it first.
You said it.
The actress takes her leave with a little nod.
How are things with Jarun? Could you help him?
He's doing well. He should be back to full strength after some rest.
You still don't know what kind of being is hidden under the armor, but the Mager's powers seem to have done a good job.
The firstlings have offered to improve his armor, and when one of the best smiths in Girdlegard offers something like that, you should definitely take them up on it.
How are you and your powers? You look a little exhausted.
I won't lie to you. It has already been too long since I was in a place where I can draw new strength. My power is trickling away like water from a leaky pipe.
Is that perhaps a way to weaken Nodon?
No, I wouldn't count on that. Even if we could keep him away from the magical realms, the being that lives within him has given him unknown powers.
How was Synthras able to overcome your shield? Can Alfar use magic?
No, certainly not. I don't know much about their people, but I think they have innate powers. Conjuring darkness, extinguishing fire, changing dreams. Little things that fill humans with fear and ensure the potency of terrifying legends about their people. Syntherast used a trick, not a spell. We killed 2 Alfar near Sovereignstone. They had crystals on them which they had received from Nodon to protect them from the spells of the Magi. He must have used a stone like that.
Take some rest. And I hope you'll still be here at dawn.
The Mager gives you a reproachful look.
Don't worry. We'll stand by you until this expedition has reached its destination.
It feels good having the Mager and her companion at your side again.
Tungdil.
How is he?
He's lost a hell of a lot of blood.
The crazy glint in Boindale's eyes has given way to serious concern.
I'm doing fine. You must rest, brother. Stay on your back so the wounds can heal. Fortunately, he hasn't lost his pig-headedness. As long as he has that, he'll come through.
Boindale forces a grin, but you can imagine what he's really thinking and feeling.
I thought Antakai was going to look after him. Didn't her magic help?
We don't want her help. Magic is no use. And we certainly don't want anything to do with Samerson.
You know there is no point arguing with the twins about magic. There is too much of a fine line between conviction and stubbornness. Boindale would rather die than be healed by the Mager.
We'll have to go on without him. He won't manage more than 100 paces without dropping down dead the state he's in.
No! I'll manage, Scholar. Just give me 2 orbits, then I'll be fine. It's just a scratch.
Boindale tries to stand up, but he doesn't have the strength. You shake your head.
Stay here and recover, Boindale. We'll meet you again in time for the big battle against Nodon. You have done your bit.
But where one of us is, the other is too. It is the greatest deed that has ever been carried out by our people. Oh. It would seem you are right, Scholar.
We'll be separated for the first time in our lives. I will miss you by my side in battle. The first 100 runts will be for you.
You will have to protect him and the others on your own now, brother. Don't take on too much, and rein in your frenzy. You must control your anger better than you usually do. Promise me.
I promise.
Tears run down the bearded cheeks of the two twins. They have never had to part like this before.
It is simply legendary. No, it is mythical. We definitely need a large theatre so we can convey the impression of this grandeur to the spectators.
It's going to be difficult, but we'll manage it. But it will be more expensive.
It would appear you like it here.
Ha! Like it? It is fabulous! I almost feel like giving up. Not even the best of illusions could possibly imitate this. But say, what brings you to us, Tungil?
Every step from here on is more dangerous than the last. Are you sure you want to continue on our journey with us?
Of course. Every story needs an end. What kind of play would it be without a third act?
There is no way I'm going to let Namora ride into battle on her own. I will be there to assist her.
And how is your new play coming along?
Good, very good. The band of adventurers who set off to defeat Nodon, aided by the Queen of the Dwarves from the kingdom of the firstlings. It's going to be a real challenge to present this story in all its greatness.
Do you already have a title?
I haven't decided for sure yet, but at the moment I'm thinking along the lines of the heroic dwarves and their loyal companions who opposed Nodon despite all the challenges to destroy him and save Girdlegard.
I must go. Rest now.
Rest? Haven't you seen? There are machines that keep the whole city alive. I must take a look.
I've gathered all of the metal we need for Keenfire. I'm ready to depart.
You nod and then look her solemnly in the eyes.
Once we set off, stay in the background, keep out of fights, and avoid all danger.
The female dwarf's expression darkens.
Shall we engage in a trial fight, Mr. Dwarf?
No, Bifracus. No, I know that female dwarves can fight. It's because of the axe. You're the only one who can forge it. If something happens to you, we won't be able to stop Nodon.
The face of the smith relaxes, and then a smile appears on her lips.
I can look after myself.
Greetings, Queen Xantis.
The Queen bows her head slightly, prompting you to speak.
Is everything ready for our journey to the Kingdom of the Fiftlings?
We have provided wagons for you and your companions. Are your preparations complete?
Yes, we are ready.
The Queen nods slowly.
Rally your companions. I will march east with my host, but don't be misled. The fate of the perished land is in your hands, not mine. May you succeed and return unhurt. Vrakas be with you.
The plains of Tabain are the most fertile in Girdlegard, and rightly give the kingdom its nickname of the breadbasket. The east of the land has been in revolt since the perished land advanced, and the peace seems to have broken in the heartland too, as a group of strangers crawl out of a hole in the ground.
Why don't we just look for a tunnel that hasn't collapsed?
And what if we don't find one? If we're overground, we at least know that there's a way, even if it's dangerous. Let's go.